Hello, I'm Brandon from XEROProducts, and today I'm going to talk to you about the XERO Pure Max Plus. So the Max Plus is an upgraded version of our standard Max system, meaning it features a dual pre-filter assembly, meaning you have a 10-inch sediment filter and a 10-inch chloramine filter that is fed into two RO membranes, meaning you can run more than one pole out of this system, and then finally polished off with a 20-inch resin chamber. Now, the XERO Pure Max Plus also features a bypass where you can run just straight RO water for those cleans that don't necessarily need to be as spotless. Or you have the option to bypass that and have the water exit the system with pure water from RO and resin DI. Now, the Max Plus can put out water at a rate between half gallon, anywhere up to almost 2 gallons per minute, but that is highly dependent on your source conditions. But we'll go into that in a little bit more detail. We're gonna go ahead and unbox one of these and see what comes with the package. So we're gonna go ahead and unbox the Max Plus here. Now I should mention, the Max Plus is a very heavy system. So there's both a correct and safe way to unbox your system. It is recommended you have a friend help lift the system out of the box to avoid any damage. So with one friend grabbing the other end of the frame, both lifting, we'll lift and just stand it up. Avoid touching any of the filters when lifting to avoid any damage. Thank you so much. So we have our system out of the box. The other thing you want to look for is your accessory bundle. So we're gonna go ahead, clear the table. And now I'm gonna go ahead and stand this on the table. Now I'm just gonna point out, if you are alone and have to lift the system, whether it's to the back of the truck or up onto a shelf, steps, who knows. Anyway, I'm gonna show you how to grip this guy. So you'll notice the handle, I'll lower to a point where I can get my hand in between the frame and the DI bracket. You do not wanna lift from the DI bowl. You do not wanna pull on the pre-filter housings. This is plastic on metal. The last thing you wanna do is break anything from tension. So I'm gonna go ahead, lower the system, grip on the frame, roll it forward, and lift. As such. So now that we have our system laying down here, I should point out that this is how we recommend you operate this system. It is a heavy and tall system, meaning it's safer to prevent any damage from tipping or falling over. This system will be able to run laying down. It's less problematic, and at that point, you're still able to access every inlet and outlet that you would require. So we're gonna go in a little bit, we're gonna go in depth as to what components make up this system. So on the opposite side shown, you have your inlet that leads to these pre-filter housings. You have a sediment and chloramine filter. This is then fed into a pressure gauge so you can see what incoming pressure you have into your RO membranes. It's important to know for performance sake. Now you have two 40-inch RO membranes that again allow you to run more than one pole out of this system. And at the bottom, you'll notice a silver garden hose styled fitting on both of these RO membranes. This is your waste restrictor that allows the membrane to perform with back pressure. It allows purification and it allows flow. We'll go into a little more detail about that later, but I should point out your wastewater will always exit from these silver fittings at the bottom of your system. Both of the RO membranes will produce pure water into this line that will feed the inlet of the 20-inch DI resin. Now I should note, on our Plus systems, you have a bypass here with a garden hose male fitting, meaning that when you flip the lever and have it facing down, you are allowing water to flow in and out, meaning you will get pure RO water. Has not touched the DI yet. That's for your cleaning that won't require a spotless clean. To then utilize the DI resin, you will flip the lever facing the RO membranes. This will allow water to travel through and purify. The resin will polish off that extra TDS, and then pure water will then exit the opposite side of the system, which we will show. And for your reference, you have the inlet. I always say inny spinny. You have your inlet side through your pre-filter and your main outlet RO DI out from the DI here. Now, when running your system, you want to make sure that the hose that is supplying water to the system has a minimum diameter, inner diameter, of at least 5/8 or 3/4 inch hose. You do not want to use 3/8 inner diameter hose to feed your system. You will run into issues with purification and flow. You can then utilize 3/8 hose on the outlet of your system to then feed your water-fed pole, but do not use 3/8 on your inlet side. All right, so we're gonna take a look at the accessory bundle and what comes with it. So first and foremost, you'll notice a filter wrench of 2 different sizes. The smaller wrench is designed to remove your pre-filter housings for filter changes, while the larger one is for your DI housing to remove and change your filters, respectively. Next, we have our magic lube. Now, magic lube is utilized to lubricate any O-rings that you have creating seals in your system. There are O-rings in your pre-filter housings, your DI housing, your DI cartridge, the caps to your RO membranes. Magic lube, when applied, will create a better seal on your O-ring. So anytime you change your filters, it's good to apply a little bit to that seal just to ensure that you're getting a proper seal for flow and pressurization. Next, we have our TDS meter. Now, this meter allows you to measure TDS, or total dissolved solids, that are present in your water. Basically, it's just measuring how much stuff is in your water, and it allows you to determine how your system is purifying. So you'll be able to measure your outcoming water to see if there are any points of filtration that need to be changed. So this TDS meter is going to be your best friend in both maintenance and understanding what kind of water you're working with. Next, we have our waste hose. Now, Max systems have more than one RO, so these hoses are intended to go at the silver waste restrictor fittings at the bottom of the housings. Simply hook them up to your silver fittings here. And once you twist them on, it just allows the flow of wastewater to be guided to a spot away from the system. It will force the wastewater out through one output, and if you wanted to run the line further away, you could. Next, we have our RO Guardian. Now, all Max systems come with 2 packets, 1 packet per RO membrane. Now, RO Guardian is intended to help both winterize and prepare your system for long-term storage to prevent any microbial growth that may occur in your RO membranes due to stagnant and sitting water. This will help winterize and prepare those membranes for those kind of longer-term sitting conditions. The packet of RO Guardian has a QR code that you can scan for more information, but we'll go into more detail as to why you're going to use this and when. Last but not least, Your best friend when it comes to owning a pure water system, your operations manual. Now, this manual has information in regards to parts, maintenance, warranty, etc. So it's important to read through and kind of understand what kind of system you have and understand what kind of components you may or may not need to change. We're going to talk a little bit about how to remove components from your system for replacement or damage sake.